All right, so it is day 3, and I've had the evening to go over some more videos and look at some more information and try and figure out a little bit more of what I've been doing wrong. So, we're not wrong, but where I can learn. So the first thing that I mentioned at the end of day 2 is I do believe that I've been working with too much roving at one time. I've been using this huge bat or this huge chunk like this that's all together. I don't know what it would be called. If it is a bat, I think batting is different. But I've been using it all at once, thinking that I needed to pull all from the same amount for my fiber. And I don't think that's the case. I've watched a few videos that talk about preparing it by separating it out, and then also pre-drafting, which I believe I am going to go ahead and start working on pre-drafting and see if that helps and makes it a little bit easier on me. The other thing that I feel like I was doing is I was kind of like going into hard mode, and I was trying to use the drop spindle in straight into drop method and holding it and spinning kind of suspended, instead of doing what's called the park and draft method, which is, I guess, an easier way of leveling up to what I was trying to do. I think that doing the park and draft would probably help me get more consistency before I start moving on to holding it out and letting the gravity method work on it. I think what happened is when I started doing it and I held it out to spin it, I saw the twist traveling up into the fiber, and so it felt like I was doing it already, so I felt like I didn't necessarily need to do more as far as like parking it and then doing the drafting, but I do think that that's going to be very helpful in getting me going. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on separating out this roving, and I'm going to go ahead and split it down the middle here, set this amount to the side, and then I'm gonna go ahead and split this again. There's a little something in here. Take that out. Okay. And then I think I want to go even thinner than this, to be honest. So I'll put this one to the side as well. And then I'm going to split it again. Yeah. Okay. Now, I watched quite a few videos last night about pre-drafting, so I want to go ahead and see. Now, I have found that this, I forget what it's called, I guess the length of the fibers is a little bit longer than I expected with this. Or a little shorter, I mean, than I expected it to be with this. This is merino. So let me just very lightly and slowly move the fiber around here. I think one thing is that a few of the videos that I watched in preparation they seemed to assume that I knew how to draft my fibers. I don't. So I've had to also find videos on drafting separately. So I will link all of these, like I said, to the description, and that will give you a head start where I didn't understand. I mean, some of it is my fault, I will say. I watched one video from a very well-known fiber arts YouTuber, and she mentioned if you know how to draft fiber, and I just kind of ignored that piece of the video, I think. I just kind of glossed over that and focused on the other piece. Is what I was wanting to learn is the spinning. I said, I don't know about drafting the fiber. I didn't even think about it, honestly. It's sometimes a thing about watching these tutorials and these videos as you start to learn something new is that quite a few of the tutorials will use industry terminology or well-known terms that, as somebody who's learning, I feel like kind of puts an understanding, like it gives you an assumption of understanding that may not be there, and I think that does sometimes cause some issues with learning in these forums. That's why I liked learning through like the Woobles, because there was a lot of, they know you're a beginner, or they phrase it as everyone's a beginner. Even these YouTube videos that say you're a beginner, sometimes they're not gonna have the same level of beginner for everybody. So anyway, yeah, that I think I have pre-drafted this piece out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-draft my other pieces, and I'll go ahead and get started on spinning. Right, so I've pre-drafted about half of my roving, and so that I have in this color. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Now, when I was doing the drop method, I was finding that using the commercial piece of yarn to start as a leader wasn't really working that well for me, but I think it was because I wasn't really doing it right. So let me go ahead and try and use it this time. I'm just gonna go ahead and knot it here, and then loop it around. My spindle, like so, and then bring it around the back here. Okay. So add some twist. I think that's a good amount. And then I'm gonna get the end here. Let me just, I think it'll just be easier if I do it on this side. Then loop it through, and then let it travel up. All right. Okay, and because I pre-drafted, I just need to let it go, and the twist is traveling up the yarn for me. Oop, that's too much twist, I think. All right, and then parking, and then draft. Okay. Now, I think I'm decently pleased with this thickness. I think I could go a little bit thinner, to be honest. Let me see if I can maybe draft out a little more to accomplish that. But honestly, it seems like this merino is a very sticky fiber, and it makes the drafting very, very hard to do with the consistency that I want to have moving forward. I have read that merino is a little bit on the tougher side to master and is probably not the best for starting out. To be honest, I didn't know a whole lot about fibers when I started to research, and I will say that I probably would have started with an easier to learn on fiber if I had read that information prior to making this the purchase I did for this fiber. This fiber did come with the spindle that I purchased, so it was kind of like a package deal. It gave me free shipping, so that was one of the reasons why I picked this fiber specifically, which is not a great reason to pick it, but that is the reason I went with this, as opposed to something that I've read might be a little bit more on my learning curve. See how like sticky this is. It's like hard to get it to draft out too far ahead. I also think that I am underestimating how much twist I need to put into this to get it to draft the way that I want. I think it is going better this time. That's a lot better than what I had before. So I'm gonna keep at this, and I will bring my progress back for day 4. I think that this is definitely more successful than I have been up until this point. I think that pre-drafting and learning more about drafting has definitely helped. Also, This park and draft method is much more controlled than what I was trying to do. Like I said, I was going into it on hard mode as opposed to just letting myself learn. But again, I'm watching a lot of different videos, and some of them are just letting it drop. I mean, even the ones that are doing park and draft are sometimes going into the drop method to show you how to do that as well. So, I mean, it looks like it's that easy to just do, but I think the thing to understand is that it is easy to do, but it's not easy to do with a lot of consistency. So that's where I am now, just working on getting to that consistent place. Oop, lost it a little bit. And I am going to continue to work towards that consistent place. And I do think that this is getting a lot of consistency worked into the shape and the size of this fiber. The pre-drafting has really made a world of difference. I think that I did kind of pre-draft on the first day without even knowing what I was doing, and it's funny that sometimes your brain just works out how to do these things, how to fix it, how to work through it without you even knowing that that's the real technique that you're supposed to use. But yeah, this is actually, it's so much fun when you're doing something and it's working well. I'm really amazed by how well it's working right now. But yeah, so I'm gonna continue on this piece of roving, and then the next piece that I'm a little bit worried about is joining in the other pieces. But while I was watching videos about how to draft better, I did see some videos about joining, and thinking ahead, I figured that's probably the next piece that I'm going to need in this journey. And so I did look at those videos already, and I think that I will be ready for joining in the next piece once we get to that spot. almost to a join, I believe. Let me go ahead and draft this little bit more out, and then we'll join the next piece of the fiber in. Sorry, I'm working in a spot that you can't see. Okay, so I'm gonna pinch this and roll up the spindle there. Okay, so I'm gonna put some more twist in, a lot more twist. And then take my new piece of roving. Now, I'm going to blend the pieces together. Just open it up a little bit more here. Oops, some came out. Okay, and then I'm going to draft up through the joined pieces. And add in some more twist. I believe I have joined it. It does look a little tiny bit thicker at that spot than the rest of it. Oh, sorry, there we go. Just a tiny bit thicker there than the rest of it. But I think that's actually really good for the first time joining. Now, one of my big issues before is that the yarn, that chunky yarn I had made, was really, it started snapping and breaking at the join pieces. And I think this is going to definitely help me with that join. So I do think that I'm on the right track. I'm going to go ahead and cut it for today. And I am going to continue to work on this for the evening with the pre-drafted pieces that I made. And I'm just going to continue to go the same way that I've been going. And when I come back, hopefully I will have a center pull ball that I can start to ply from. I do have a yarn winder for my center pull ball, so I'm not gonna demonstrate that or show any progress on making a ball of yarn because it is just a winder that you can purchase at any craft store or on Amazon like I did, and you can use the very rudimentary instructions that it has on how to make your ball. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and see you on day 4.